Hi, welcome to Stockinit Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as J-Knit Ma.
And I'm Megan Williams, also known as Megan Williams on Ravelry. Again, quite the ingenious name there. People won't be able to find me.
No, not at all.
And this is our third episode. We originally weren't going to do this every week,
No.
and now we've kind of become addicted to it. It's kind of fun, and I love the opportunity to chat with you and also get feedback from other folks on what we're doing.
Yep.
So we're doing it every week because we're happy to be doing it.
Yep, and as long as the bike ride continues.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if we mentioned that before, but her husband does a bike ride every Tuesday, so he's not here. And so it's like, oh, well, not doing anything, come on over.
Yeah, my living room becomes our production studio, and
Yep.
we have no contention with any other adults, and everybody else is asleep.
Yep, and
So-
hopefully stays asleep.
Yep, yep. Although the time change has thrown my youngest off.
Oh.
So, yeah, bummer. We'll start. I mean, we kind of have our flow going here, but it's in a state of flux. So first, we wanted to do some shout outs, some zombie shout outs to a couple of podcasts that had mentioned us. And it's fun because I had my set of podcasts, and now that we've got folks mentioning us, and I want to go out, but I'm also now watching their podcasts.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, so I checked out the Wolf Farms podcast. I caught the Halloween one, and those gals look like they have a lot of fun and enjoy what they're doing. Very lively.
Yeah.
So thank you to Dawn and Nicole. Thank you for mentioning us to your viewers as a new thing. And I believe you had gotten to watch Dramatic Knits.
Yep. So I saw Steve's review of us, and it was very nice and very kind. And so thank you very much. I had I think at least 3 members mentioned that they heard about us from you. So we wanted to thank you very much for sending people our way. And then I think we both caught Knittables.
Yeah,
So
Diane on Knittables. And
Yeah.
again, a very nice review, and it will be a podcast I will continue to watch. So
yeah, she has a lot of fun giveaways.
yeah, a lot of fun giveaways and a lot of eye candy. She had some
Oh, yeah.
some Lamais and some Vesper sock yarn, and all of those things kind of caught my attention. I'm like, ooh, you look like you have a lot of fun. So
So I guess we can do some. I hear baby. Uh-oh.
yeah,
So do some FOs. Here's my capuchin hat. Uh-oh, baby. And put this on. Here's one FO.
we may need to stop.
And then sock. One sock. The other ones are still in progress, but I figured it was finished, so it's one thing that's finished.
And what pattern is that?
This is the Trilobites sock by Wendy Johnson.
Hmm.
And then the sock is, the yarn is Tempted, Little Lux Girl. So it's a MCN. Very nice. And they're for my husband.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, they look like a Bigfoot.
yes, they're not for me.
Sometimes those big socks are hard to get through.
Yeah, they're toe up again, so that kind of, once you've turned the heel, you're like, woohoo, I'm almost there.
Yeah.
And, oh, I did another owl. And it might look like the first one, but the bottom yarn is different. It's, my genomes or something like that, gnomes, my gnomies.
Mm.
And I
My
say,
homies.
yes, but I say genomes because I'm dumb like that. It just makes it easier to spell, right?
Yeah.
When you say all the letters. But that's all I had for FOs. I did finish a Greta the Captivating Cat from Danger Crafts, but somehow it walked out of my knitting bag before I made it here. Probably one of my kids. But so I'll show it next week unless it's off in its little package to the swap I'm doing 2 swaps and then some secret Santa type stuff, and so it's crazy knitting a lot of little gifts for everybody.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
All right. My big work in progress has grown. My fancy schmancy Delancey has grown some arms, and I definitely hit at the 2 week mark. Some cheating heart. You call me a monogamous knitter, and I'm like, can I just be done? So it's grown some arms, and
Yes.
it's got a band down at the bottom to kind of
Awesome.
even out some of
Maybe a little higher, Megan.
Yep, even out some of that's the wrong side again. Some of the shaping, or some of the off-bias knitting, and then it's picked up the collar. So
Oh my goodness, yeah.
lots of stitches for the collar.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That's some stockinette zombie
Yeah,
knitting you got
and
going on there.
it's garter stitch, right? Because it's all just knit, 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 knit. So here pretty soon I'll change color, and it's very neat because when you fold the collar over, then it kind of forms the V, like these are V's.
Okay.
Because the color flashes, the contrast color flashes in. And so that's my work in progress, my fancy schmancy Delancey. I'm going to be kind of sad to see it go. I mean, I know that I just said that at 2 weeks I am kind of tired of knitting it, but oh, pashmina is such a joy to knit. Like, just the process of knitting is a lot of fun.
I have some pashmina too.
Yep. So you've got that in your lap.
Yes, I'm knitting what she's wearing.
Yes.
So.
Yep. Here's and this was, I probably could have done a little camera angle as far as, but see, it's just a little short. And I did extra. Actually, I think I spread the increases out over more stitches to make it longer. And then I also tacked down this front part because that wasn't part of the pattern.
Oh, okay.
That you tack down up here, and then you formed the pocket by tacking down there.
Oh, I see. But this part would have rolled a little more.
Yeah, it just would have. So and then I got some square buttons, which I like for some reason. Yeah. That's kind of my modern aesthetic. And this is cedar colorway. So yep,
getting there.
Yeah, you're getting there.
I followed the same decrease that the pattern called for.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm probably just gonna up the amount of repeats I do until it's the length I want. And I might start to not do any more increases after a while, but I think it can stand for a few more increases.
Yeah.
And
for a deeper pocket.
Yeah. So this is not gotten much progress since the last, hence all the FOs there. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, the sock got finished off, and then all the little animals that I was making, and so not much progress on the sweater. And the second sock has a little toe, like, is it Wendy Nist that does toe picks? Toe picks?
Mm.
Toe pick. So that's my toe.
Very pretty color.
But yeah, I made a mistake. And I'll show everybody. So like here you can see that it's one pattern. Oh, and I did the same pattern again. Oh no. And then I repeated it. And then there's the changes that you should be making as you go down the pattern. So my first 3 repeats of the pattern were just the first half of the pattern. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's making any sense at all, but...
So are you going to do the other sock to yes. match it, to mirror it?
Yes, I'm in the middle of mirroring my mistakes, and that's why I thought I'd bring it up, because it's just so frustrating when you have to do it again. You're like, oh yeah, that's right, I messed up, and they're socks, so I have to look at it again and make the same mistake twice.
Yeah, I really like doing 2 at a time. I don't get the opportunity to do 2 at a time very often. Because I do that self-striping, and as you pointed out to me, I think one time as I was doing it, then the stripes go in different order if you pull from the inside and pull from the outside of the same ball, so I would have had to wound them into 2 separate balls. Yeah, which I could have done with my knitting scale, but but did I tell you my husband bought me my own scale?
Oh, yeah.
So that I didn't have to use his. Yes.
I have a jewelry scale.
Ooh.
And somebody who told me to buy the jewelry scale was saying, go read the comments. It's really funny because they're talking about weighing oregano and sugar on the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's just really funny. It's very accurate.
Yeah.
So
what does a jewelry scale? What do you just measure how much gold is in your jewelry?
Well, it just has to be very accurate for when you're if somebody's buying your jewelry from you.
Got it.
You want every gram to count, or every tenth of a gram to count. And so do apparently people who sell oregano.
On How I Met Your Mother, it's always eating a sandwich is how when he's telling his kids what they were doing in their dorm room, it was, we were eating a sandwich. So yeah, funny.
But yes, now I have a jewelry scale.
Okay.
And it's very accurate. I got it for the Blinky Mania group. The Blinky Mania group does the mini skeins. And so I think that that's a really perfect segue
Yeah.
to our mini skein giveaway. We made it to, I think, 129 was what I checked before I left
members
the house.
In our group.
Yeah. And so I'm just gonna, let's see, I'm gonna hold up examples. So I wound up some little mini skeins. So this one's a BFL, and that's the 5 grams. And then this is the 7 gram. And we'll have 2 lots of them to give away. One will be a 5 gram lot, and the other one will be a 7 gram lot of just different scraps from different projects that I've made. So there's some, and here's another one. So this is Silk Garden, and then this one was a Numma Numma. And
I was just commenting you that I've seen so many places now that are selling the mini skeins. There's lots of these.
Yeah, because the Blinky Mania, and
yeah.
the Blinky Mania is a really good group for trading puffs and whatnot. They have tons of swaps. And so if you're knitting the puffs or the blanket, they do 5 gram swaps and 7 gram swaps. 5 grams is for the mitered blankets, and 7 grams is for the hexa puffs. And so that's why I made 2 different lots, just to make sure you had enough to do whichever one you might, if you're a blankie knitter, you don't care either way. You're going to get your 5 grams you need. But if you're doing the hexa poofs, you might not have enough with 5 grams to get through a poof. And then I had some other ones. So Dream in Color, I think Lorna's Laces, Shepherd Sock. This one's Claudia's Hand Paints. And then this is Blue Moon Fiber Arts Silky, so it's going to be like almost a DK. It's pretty thick.
So I'm not familiar. You've made a couple of the hexie puffs, right?
Yes.
And so those, the different needle sizes, or is that for like different weight of yarn, and do they scale for you?
I don't know if the pattern scales. I don't own the pattern. I just made hexes that I puffed, and
okay, so you reverse engineered it, sort of.
Well, but I also did it differently because I did a center out one, and I think the hexapuff pattern, you start with like a Judy's Magic cast on, and then you go V and then decrease in, and I did a center out, so you start with like 6 stitches, and you just start double, increase until you get your hexapuff. And I thought that was, neat, and I knew it wasn't how the pattern was written, so it was a little different, and I only did 2 or 3, and then I stopped. So I didn't get the allure, I guess, or catch the bug on the hexapuff craze. But I do like the mini swaps. I think it's a great way to try out new yarns. And so maybe if you haven't tried these yarns yet, maybe you can just knit up a little, mitered square to feel it, and decide if you wanted to purchase some more. I did a Woomies one and Sundera mini swap, just to try those yarns and see what they felt like and what all the different properties were, like how vibrant the colors were.
So you said that there's going to be 2 that we're going to give away?
Yeah, 2 lots. So one will be a 5 gram lot, and once I have them measured out, I'll take pictures and put them on the thread. But what we'll do is we'll have a thread. We'll have it open for 1 week, and you'll need to put your enter me comment into the thread at 1 per customer, please.
Yeah.
We'll try and filter those out. And then, what were we saying? Oh,
Should be members.
Yep, member of the group.
Yep.
And it has that little "you are a guest" thing, so we can tell if you're not a member of the group. And
we'll draw for those next week.
Yep.
So
probably on camera. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people with the random number generator on their phone and then looking it up, and maybe we'll just get a number and then announce it on the thread.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than doing it live, I don't know.
Yeah, or we could grab my laptop and have a random number generator.
We'll figure it out before next week.
The logistics you don't have to worry about. Just go out and sign up if you're interested in some free yarn. So
yeah. And I just thought scraps was a good way to start our first prize. I mean, I have plenty of them, and I can wind them up with my little jewelry scale and get them out to you in a fairly quick manner, whereas some of the other stuff that we were thinking about doing, I don't know, it would take more time and more planning.
Yeah.
We got to 100 members pretty fast.
Yeah.
So,
super excited about the number of members that we've got already. I mean, again, just blown away. My husband's just like, really? Which is a good organic segue here for me to apologize to anybody that I may have offended last week about old lady knitters. I shouldn't let my husband's stereotyping and bugging of, it's just a hot button he knows that he can push on me, and to turn around and then I discriminate or stereotype because of him. So no matter your age, we are all young at heart here, and we're all love this craft, so we're united by it. So I shouldn't have stuck my foot in my mouth. But if you talk as much as I do, you do that often. Stick your foot in your mouth. So I'm sorry to any and all that I may have offended, and we'll continue on.
We had some members that introduced themselves and said, I guess I'm in the old lady knitter category. And I'm like, they were in their 50s. That's not old.
Yeah.
Not by a long shot. So that's not even what I would think her husband would call an old lady knitter. So
yeah, no, the old lady he has envisioned is the one that's sitting in Goodnight Moon.
It's a rabbit.
The old lady whispering hush, I think.
Isn't it a rabbit?
I think she may have ears, yes.
Not even a lady.
Yeah. Or just, any stereotype that's on I think I've seen knitters on a lot of cartoons where they're making fun of like 90-year-old women. And again, I'm sticking my foot in my mouth. 90-year-old women that are still dexterous enough and still out there knitting. Good for them. Keeps us young, makes us happy. Yeah. Why not? So, and then I think before we get into acquisitions and enabling, I was going to mention what I have up next because I've had that cheating heart on my monogamous knitting. I'm going to be making the looped loop. I believe it's Kirsten Johnstone. It's assemblage is her her blog. Yeah, Kirsten Johnstone. I thought it was very pretty. It actually calls for something that I have, which is Woo Boo. Okay. I had a whole extra skein after I got done with my the traveling sweater, and but I think I'm going to try to make something big because I have so much of that. Like I have a garment's amount worth because one skein is so huge. Mm-hmm. So I decided I have a sock club that I signed up for the Socks That Rock, Notorious Sock Knitters Club this year. And I think I'm going to not do any more sock clubs. I've decided I have enough fingering weight yarn.
She needs a sweater club.
Yeah.
And she's joined several.
Yeah.
I saw.
And I've got lots of patterns, and so I'm just going to, you know, if I pick back up and start doing socks, I'll sign up for some more sock clubs. But this is the lightweight, and it's Maya, and it's got some beautiful blues and pinks and purples, and I think it will just look really nice. I may end up alternating ends as I'm knitting that, just so that I don't get any pooling or striping.
Pooling's half the fun.
I know, but for some reason I don't like pooling. Some folks do, and I just really don't.
I probably like it less in a cowl. I don't mind it in my socks at all. I actually think it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And I've had some like fun pooling where the stripes kind of angle and go from one foot to the other foot.
Huh.
I don't know. I just think the pooling's interesting.
And it definitely makes it unique. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, somebody looks at those and they're like, those aren't store-bought socks.
Those are crazy lady socks.
Yeah. And then you had some things that you said that were up next for you, right?
Oh gosh, I forget what I said.
You said
a
a turkey toy?
Oh, these were things I queued, but I queued them mainly for like quick little knits that I might be able to fit in for, you know, having finished objects to show you all.
To offset my garment 3 weeks of, wouldn't this have been such an interesting podcast if I'd done it by myself? Week 1, I'm starting this Delancey. Week 2, I'm still working on it. Week 3, I'm working on it still. Wouldn't this be such an interesting podcast without Amy's finished objects to show?
So basically, I think I queued a little toy turkey, and it's really cute, and I think it's a free download. And then a little headband with a flower on it for a little girl. I think it might be baby sizes. I didn't check it out because that's a 50-cent one, and I thought I'll wait until I'm ready to cast on to buy it. But another little one, and then I had a third one.
Worsted weight Christmas ball.
Oh yeah. It looked like it was super quick, but it was one of those things where you knit a sleeve for one of those glass Christmas balls, and then you put it in there and kind of gather it around the top. And it was for worsted weight. I have a pattern for sock weight, but this one was worsted weight, and I also think it was free, so that was really cool. Anyway, we'll have links to all these things that we're mentioning in the show notes, so hopefully you can check those patterns out. I was just searching for things that required 50 yards or less. I mean, really small knits. Some of these might have been cheating by getting into that category, but it was just, you know, searching for quick little knits.
So then we'll get into acquisitions and enabling. My future fictional yarn
Has arrived.
It is materialized. It is no longer fiction. First, so both of mine are Madeline Tosh. This is the DK Twist, and it is 100% merino wool, and it's they are selling it as, we took your favorite yarn base, which is their DK, and Tosh DK, and made it even better. So this is the Silver Fox, and it's got some more loft to it and a little tighter twist, they said. So I think that it'll work up nice as
It looks worsted.
Yeah, a light worsted almost.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot thicker.
Yeah, and I've recently in my garments I've been knitting lighter weight yarn and basically just using the same, you know, almost the same stitch count and the same needle size, because I like the airiness and very dense knits. When I first started, if anything had any holes in it, I was like, oh, I don't like that. You know, like it had to be like,
I remember this.
To be very dense fabric for me to like it. Now it's like the opposite.
Yeah, because when we used to work down the hall from each other, and I'd stop by and I'd be working on something very lacy and just be like, oh gosh, no, you know.
I still think that, I mean, I enjoy my holy knitting, as I called it, I believe, when you showed it to me. But I think I enjoy cables more now. You know, it's like not stocking knit. It's not, you know, a bunch of figuring out yarn overs and whatever. Cabling, I think, is my next big foray, brought on by my Rocky Coast cardigan.
Yeah, that was quite the
lots of cabling there, and it was interesting. I was
Yeah.
constant, and that was the other thing that I came to realize with my Delancey is I got to the sleeves and it was in the round, and I was like, I kind of missed the reprieve from knit, knit, knit. Like the back and forth of going knit and then getting to do some purling and then knitting. I like that. Whereas I used to be, if a pattern called for something to be knit flat and then seamed, I would knit it in the round. Mostly because I think I was a little scared of seaming because seaming is scary. You can mess up and not have it look very nice. But then also it was just like, well, why would I want to have like a bunch of stitches, weird stitches on? I don't know. And now I enjoy the reprieve from the becoming a zombie. This is the DK Twist, available on Madeline Tosh's Etsy website. If you can catch it. She's
Cart-jacked.
Yeah, I got cart-jacked several times. In fact, I'm waiting for some more of it to arrive. And then I signed up for the sweater club, so I'm gonna crinkle, but look at all this beautiful MCN, and it's in vintage sari. And so the cool thing about the sweater club, I think that I rubbed my hands together and told you guys about it last week, was that you get to pick your colors. So this is a color that I have wanted for so long and have not been able to get from her catch on her website without being carjacked or just seeing it disappear.
And you can't, no smell-o-vision, but this is, quite the dye fumes.
Yeah, they are
coming from this bag.
They're very, very strong. So I got 6 of them. I can just like bathe myself in MCN here. No need to knit.
How many is that? Oh my gosh,
6.
that looks like a small fortune.
Yep, 6 of them.
Oh, but yeah. So, and any idea what you're going to turn it into?
I don't know. It's definitely not going to be somebody's coveted D-stash. It is mine, all mine. So yeah, it's I'm excited to get the Tosh Chunky and the Pashmina worsted as well, which I will show you all when it arrives. But I don't know if this one's going to be knit. I'm kind of a first in, first out kind of knitter, so I've got some garment quantity, sweater quantity yarn. Just don't mind me while I sit here and pet my MCN. That has been sitting in my stash now all of 2 years, because I've been a knitter for 2 years, that I should probably get to first. Like, I'm going to force myself. I'm going to power through and knit those first before I start getting into this brand new stuff.
I have things where I bought several different colors of a type of yarn, and I've knit one color, but then the other color is still sitting in my stash from 4 years ago that I bought it, and I'm like, but I already knit with that, or it feels like I just knit with that, so I want to pick something else. But having started more garments recently, I like that I tend to get through that more frequently. It's the sock yarn that's getting scary. It's several tubs and overflowing and some lace and
Yeah, fingering has its own tub for me, and then Madeline Tosh has its own tub, which I intermix the weights in.
Oh my.
Yeah, and then the other, like I think Sport and Lace and get their own, are all in one, and then Worsted has its own. So I by far have the most fingering and worsted in my stash, and of that, more, Madeline Tosh gets its own tub. It just felt overflowing. Yes. Filled to overflowing. What else was it? Oh, I signed up for another club.
I saw that.
The Tanis Fiber Arts.
I was tempted, but I figure if any of those patterns looked really awesome, I could wait a little bit.
So there's patterns. There's 6 shipments, and there's going to be patterns by Anna Fedig of Knitbot, Elena Dacos of Never Not Knitting, Kristen Kapoor of Through the Loops, and Jared Flood of Brooklyn Tweed. So I could not resist.
And they're all supposed to be one skein wonders, I think, if I read the description. So you can one skein of fingering weight yarn, so you get 6 patterns from these wonderful designers for that specific purpose. So that'd be good for getting that sock yarn stash down.
Yeah, and like I said, I've just got so much sock yarn. And I'm not a really prolific sock knitter at this point. I just picked this up and dropped a bunch of stitches. So it's, yeah, I wanted to try something a little different. So unless somebody can come up with a really good enabling, I'm probably not going to renew my cookie.
Okay.
It was a hard decision, but
I think we enabled a few other people out there to join up, so they'll be happy that you gave them.
I love all of their patterns, and in fact, I just went through and upped all of the patterns in my queue to hey, look at me, you know. I paid for this pattern, so I might as well do it before the free one.
Yeah.
Type thing. So, and then you said you had some fictional something or other that you had ordered but had not yet arrived.
Oh, well, Karen of Round the Twist had shown how to freak out the muggles by taking silk hankies, and then you just peel off a piece and you tear from the center and you draft it and then you knit from it. And I was like, how cool is that? You know, I'm all about freaking out the muggles every once in a while, so that sounds awesome. And you get a pair of silk mittens at the end. So I ordered enough to do 2 sets, or probably 2 sets is what I'll end up, 2 sets of mittens from it. And it should be really cute. And that's in the mail, it's on its way. The Etsy shop owners have informed me that it's shipped, but it has not been gotten here yet. And yeah, still no word from 3 Irish Girls on the Royal, but I expect that that'll probably be 6 weeks out. I don't think that it's going to be any sooner than that. Just her group, you know, kind of exploded with, oh my gosh, I love these colors, and I ordered all this, and I ordered all that, so she's going to be busy dyeing that all up for us.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because you only had a week to decide what you wanted, so I don't know. I was on the fence for a while, but I just figured I really liked all of the yarns that I got when I was part of her sock yarn club. And I think in the new year I'm going to do I think it's Stash Menagerie, and that you can, you sign up to get a random new base. So I like her McClellan base, which is wool bamboo, and she's doing a DK in it. So I was like, oh, that might be fun to sign up for. So that starts in the new year, so I'm going to probably sign up for that. And then I'm going to, I don't know if I have to fight real hard to get into the DDD, the Dancing Dog Dye Works next club, but I'm going to try to get into that one as well in the new year. So I kind of put off any other clubs. I have Cookie A, and then that one. Your club seemed very reasonable, the one that you signed up for. I was very tempted. I mean, yeah, it was really reasonable.
Yeah, I think it was it was in Canadian dollars, which I think is pretty similar to ours. Again, I'm showing my, what's that called, where I'm very American-centric. I think it was $200, and that's for 6 shipments. So, and you get, 6 skeins of yarn and 6 patterns. So it wasn't too bad. It was about, isn't that what Cookie A's is? It was about 200.
Yeah. So. Yeah, clubs, they're expensive, but I don't know, it's one of those things where I pay more for the fun of being in it with everybody else, and the threads and the ravelry camaraderie with the club, and the anticipation of what it's going to be, and just waiting it out to see what everybody else thinks of the latest shipment. And so I like to be in clubs for that reason. And I've also seen clubs that are like $60 a shipment and stuff. So yeah. I think that when you get under $40 a shipment, that you're doing okay.
Yeah.
And when they get even lower, like $35 a shipment, it's like, ooh, okay.
Yeah. And it's so funny because, again, Amy and I are like polar opposites. Like, I waited until I got the cookie in the mail, and I avoided the spoiler threads, and I would like sit down and just whenever I had a moment to open, like I had to have a quiet moment to open it up and just really like I don't know, just really savor it. And Amy, like, the second there was a spoiler thread out there, Amy's like, "Did you see the yard?" And I'm like, "No, I'm waiting until I can feel it and touch it and whatever." So, be aware, anybody that's giving Amy a Christmas present, she might peek. She's a peeker.
Well, I don't know. I like the spoiler threads because I just feel like, I don't know, being surprised twice, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like finding out the sexier baby. Like, oh, find out ahead of time and then I, get surprised twice. Like, one, I know it's a girl. Two, I get to meet the girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, I don't know. I'm not one for surprises. I would not have not found out the sex of my children, and
we did. We found out with the first. The second one we did not, and then the third one it was like, oh, I'm just gonna be way too busy to be surprised. With two older children, there's no way that I'm going to leave that all up in the air and not have like the clothes, the clothes picked out because we had one of each at that point, and had it knowing meant that I could, line the drawers and just know, I guess. So it was fun, the second one, although I'll warn anybody out there that is expecting. So many people now find out the sex of their unborn children that when you're laying there and you push this little thing out, nobody down there goes, "It's a boy." I'm like, had to wait until my son was flopped on my chest to look down and see his genitalia to know that it was a boy, because so many people find out now that it's not.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was just like, anybody tell me.
Yell it out.
I just squeezed this kid out. Don't you think I deserve to know? So yeah, make sure to tell your husband, significant other, and doctors that all are able to see before you that you want to know what the sex of your child is, so the gender of your child. Did we have anything else that we wanted to talk about?
No, no, that was it. I had freebies.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of new faces on the membership and all the nice things. My husband read some of our podcast reviews to me, and I was just blown away. Some of them were just very well put and very nice, and he said that I don't think I've seen a more positive set of podcast reviews, because we're kind of an isolated niche, and you're not going to have the random teenage boy saying you suck, because they just want to be mean to people that they don't know.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I was blown away. All sorts of kind words being said about our first few episodes. Although one person said in the just today, I look forward to seeing you grow as podcasters. And I was like, uh-oh, we have to grow? Like, no, this is it. We might grow incrementally, but I don't see us changing.
I could see us having, like, maybe some demarcation in, like, with, like, splash screens or something. Like, now they will be talking about finished objects, and have, like, maybe do some post-production stuff.
That'll be all on her, because I did notice that in Knittables, where she has like the little "thanks Tracy" or whatever that pops up as she's talking. But as time allows, or as more technical challenges arise, perhaps we will have things like that, and we will be growing as podcasters. As you were saying that, I was sitting here thinking, our category is wrong in iTunes, and I'm trying to correct that. We're in like arts, and everybody else that has a knitting podcast is under hobbies and games, and then a subcategory underneath that. Well, and we're more sophisticated, right?
I guess we're very arty.
We're in the arts.
And then
this hobbies.
Yeah, we are artistes. And I can't figure out, and maybe somebody out there that has a podcast and is watching can tell me. The Blip TV, I've got set up what our cover art should look like, just for the whole listing, not like on the episode level, and it's not showing up. So we always have like that default little circle body person as our screen art, and I'm like, no, Stalking the Zombies, we've got a cool logo, let's get that up there, and I can't for the life of me figure out how to get it up there.
Although it's just another little circle.
I liked your art. That was beautiful. I added the font of the words, but did you take a picture of some of your knitting? Where did you find the green stocking knit?
Oh, it was probably Google Images.
Yeah.
But,
you could have just said
it was mine, I swear. I had that exact color in my stash.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't sue me.
You did some scrubbing around it and stuff. Now it's yours.
Oh yes, this is true. I improved upon it.
Yeah.
So it's mine. We're very familiar with patents.
Yeah. We worked for a place that really encouraged patenting. So.
Yes. And we have one together.
We do.
A U.S. patent.
If you go out and search for Megan Williams patents, you will find Amy and Megan's patent extraordinaire. But
I think we're getting a little long, so
yeah. Let's
get this.
Now that I'm downloading all these people's video podcasts, I realize the size of such things, and if we're not the only ones in your queue, then we don't want to take up an inordinate amount of your time or of your bandwidth. So
exactly. All right.
Thank you for joining us once again,
Yeah.
and we'll see you next week.
Yep. Happy knitting.
Yep.